Did you know there's nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds yet to be spent? That's right, there's a massive amount of money that the lame duck administration is pushing hard to spend in the last few months. If the president is able to push these funds out, we could see another prolonged inflation surge, just like during COVID. I'm sure you remember the terrible effects that high prices had on most Americans. But there's hope. A surge in prices can be beaten. A gold IRA from Birch Gold Group can be an inflation hedge for your savings in uncertain times. To see how to protect your IRA or 401k, get your free information kit on gold by texting the word Dinesh to 989898. Birch Gold makes it seamless to roll over your retirement account while preserving your tax advantage status. Do what Debbie and I have done. Don't wait for the president's spending spree to tank the dollar further. Protect your financial future now. Text Dinesh to 989898 for your free information kit from Birch Gold. What do you make of the second assassination attempt based upon what we know so far?
Yeah, we know a little about what's going on, but based on the facts that you laid out, and I've seen some of the same reporting, is that at the tactical level, best case scenario, let me give you the range of what I think possibly is going on here. At the tactical kind of basic level, this guy was just, consuming so much of the media coming from essentially the enemy of the Constitution, whether it's the criminal news networks, the MSLSD, I call it, right? Or the fake book that's promoting the narrative of the regime, which is now being proven to be completely false. So he was duped into that system and it was overcharged.
Just to be clear, you mean is it the Trump is an autocrat, Trump is a dictator,
It's the TDS crowd that's promulgating complete anger in order to benefit themselves, the police state, the national security state, in order to keep their unjust and corrupt power in place. So best case scenario for this gentleman, he was duped into that and was radicalized. But I think there's much more to that. When you look at it and kind of back up and look at it from a strategic perspective. When you look at the Ukraine connection, well, how did that all originate? I happened to serve in 2014 on the Ukraine crisis team in the National Military Command Center at the Pentagon. And while I did my work there and saw all levels of intelligence to the highest levels of intelligence that our government collects, in addition to that, when I was not at work, I still observed what was going on through the open sources out there, whether it's the Twitters, the YouTubes at that time. And I observed not only U.S. media, but also Russian and Ukrainian media. And we could clearly see how John Brennan, his fingerprints at the time, the CIA director, his fingerprints were all over the coup d'etat that occurred in Ukraine. And then they installed Poroshenko into office. And as you start to peel that onion further and further, and then they tee up Joe Biden to kind of present to Petro Poroshenko that they need to go ahead and hire his son to be an advisor on Burisma, right? So that he can then advocate for the Biden criminal syndicate, right? Well, when you start to throw in those factors at the strategic level as it applies to Ukraine, and as, by the way, another data point many people miss is that the disinformation czarina, known as the disinformation diva that they try to promote, Miss, what was her name? Her Twitter is Wikipedia. She was going to be the disinformation government.
She was going to be
Nina Yankowicz.
Oh, that's right. Of course.
So Nina Yankowicz was found to be at Zelensky campaign headquarters. What is she doing there? And then when you start to throw in the Vindman twin traitor brothers, and then now one of their the wives is on Twitter, basically on the borderline